Hi, welcome to this week's Fundraising Friday. This week we're talking about financial statements, how to read them and what they mean. So let's dive in. Let me share with you a sample of a financial statement that has been anonymized so that to take away the identity of the organization. But this is a true financial statement. And if you are familiar with financial statements, either from board service or from grant writing, you know that there's two common types of financial statements. There is a profit and loss statement, also called a statement of activity, and there's a balance sheet, also called a statement of position. So what are they? What are the differences, and how do you read them? So this one on the screen right now is a statement of activity or a profit and loss statement. This shows you categorized how much money your organization has spent and how much it's brought in for a given period of time. Often these get run every month. If your organization is smaller, maybe it's every quarter, but it's like looking at your checkbook and it's like looking at what money's come in, what's come out to see whether or not you are making a profit. Now, I know you're a nonprofit organization, but nonprofits still have to make profit or there's no money set aside for a rainy day. So let's look at this one a little bit more carefully. So you see at the top here is revenue. So what this section shows is how much money this organization brought in for the period of time that's up here. So this is their 2022 calendar year statement of activity. So they brought in just over $73,000. And you can see then how that money came in. Some came through public grants, some came from foundations, some came from other nonprofit organization grants. These categories are something that you set up yourself for whatever makes sense for you. You can also see how much the board gave, how much they got from corporations, what they got from individuals, and what they received from their special event. And they have it broken down how that money came in for their special event. So that's the income side. Then the next part is their expenditures. So how much did they spend? And you see, this is all these pieces that talk about what kind of business expenses, what contracts they have. This one did some exhibits, so how much that cost, what their operations are, and then on down the line for other types of expenses, personnel costs, special events, etc., so that you see here at the bottom, their total expenditures were $66,000 for this year. And you can then see how they spent that money. If you're going, wow, I didn't expect that we had spent that much. Where did it go? This will tell you exactly where it went. Again, the categories are something you set up yourself for what's meaningful to you. If you break them down into small subcategories, that'll allow you to track them a little bit better. But depending on the size of your organization, that can make it a little bit unwieldy. And then here at the bottom, you see other types of income. Did they receive any dividend income? Sometimes if you receive interest on your accounts, that'll show up there, etc. And then at the very bottom, net revenue, how much money did this organization make for the year? When I look at a P&L, that's usually what I look at is there a profit? If there's not, or if that profit's going down, then I go back and I look and see, okay, what were our big expense categories? Are there things that we might be able to cut or be able to decrease? So that's the profit and loss statement or statement of activities, sometimes called a P&L. The next one is the statement of financial position or the balance sheet. And this form tells you how healthy the organization is, not based upon what's coming in and out like the P&L does, but based upon the assets and the liabilities of that organization. This one uses this organization. It starts with your assets and says, what are the things that you own? This organization is a fairly small organization. They don't have any real estate. So basically what they own are their bank accounts. So this one had numerous bank accounts. That's how they track their different grants. So their savings account had 7,000 in it. Their different bank accounts, some had very little in it. This one, their largest one, had 48,000. So they had $55,000 to their name as of January 2nd, 2023. Then you look at, oh, let me back up a minute. If you own a building, if you have property, if you're a museum and you have a collection, your equipment might be part of your assets. So this, depending on how large and complicated you are, this might look a little bit different. Then here at the bottom are the liabilities. What do you owe? They had a balance on their Visa card. They didn't have any long-term liabilities, but if you have a loan, if you have a mortgage, that might be there as well. Sometimes those liabilities might be things like unpaid PTO, because that's money that you're going to have to pay out. Sometimes it's things like you haven't paid your employment tax yet. Sometimes it might be your payroll. It might be a contract that you haven't paid out on. All of that becomes part of your liabilities. Then you look at your equity. Their equity is what was their opening balance, what's their net unrestricted assets, so that their total liabilities and equity is just over 55,000. You can see on this one, the balance sheet, their assets and their liabilities should balance. That's one way to know the difference between a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement. If you need more detailed information than what I've just shared with you, you might see what YouTube has or what other types of public sources have to help you delve more deeper into your financial statement and your balance sheet. These were generated from QuickBooks. If you use QuickBooks or another type of program, there should be very easy to run this report, and you should have a good handle on where your organization stands financially by reviewing these regularly. That's this week's Fundraising Friday. Thanks. Have a great weekend.